Yeah, hi guys. I wanted to make a quick little video of Seattle and the Capitol Hill Autonomous Region because there's not a lot of information out there. I used to live in Seattle. I know Seattle pretty well, and I couldn't find any really good maps or anything. This was, an example of the typical map or one of the best maps, that are out there. There's just nothing out there as far as maps of this Seattle takeover, the took over area. So I decided to make my own map. I fired up my map software and decided to create a map that gives a little more perspective, particularly for people who know Seattle. So I'm going to switch. I've got two monitors here. I'm going to switch over to the other monitor, and we'll there we go. This is my map software on the second monitor. And this is Seattle, two floating bridges, 520 and I-90, the Seattle waterfront, the Seattle commercial district. The Space Needle's right about here. The West Seattle Bridge is here. And this whole area right here, even though we keep hearing about CHAZ and the takeover being just a couple small blocks, and the media is not really giving it any attention. But when we actually look at the plotted area in relation to Seattle as a whole, it's a pretty significant chunk of real estate. We've got, I'll zoom in a little bit here and give you some perspective. And this is, everything is to scale in these maps. I can zoom out and zoom in, and everything is still in the proper scale. So what we have here is we have Broadway, Madison, Pike and Pine Street, and the CHAZ zone is kind of straddling between Pike Street and East Olive, plus a little bit of this field, this ball field. And so when I put an overlay with this type of software, I can put a Google map or a Bing map overlay that'll lay down on this map, because this is an overstreet map, which has coordinates. It's a real map with real coordinates created from software. And when I put a map overlay on it, it'll lay down exactly on top of this overstreet map. So what I'll do is I've already put the map, and this is still a experimental plugin. So that's why I have this warning here, because I won't be able to save this overlay on this map, but the overlay does work on the map. So when I put the overlay down on top of the map, it's an identical overlay. You can see that when I take it off or on, it's exactly the same. So this would be like a Google map or that you would find. And so it's zooming in here, and we can actually see the fields and the buildings and this this autonomous zone named CHAZ. And let's see if I can actually put the autonomous zone on top of the Bing map. Whether I can pull that off. There we go. Okay, good. So here we have the perspective we were seeing earlier. This is the real deal. This is the same thing we were seeing earlier with the Overstreet map, but this is, you can see that this is a pretty significant chunk of real estate. And, it's amazing that we have a significant portion of a major city that's been taken over by radicals. And most of the media hasn't even bothered to mention, other than, brief mention, that, there's some protesters that are taking over a couple of buildings. Well, actually, when we look at this is a pretty large chunk of a very significant city. Once again, we have the Space Needle is going to be right about here is the Space Needle. So this is the whole downtown, all the tall skyscrapers and the tall buildings, the waterfront. Then we get down into the industrial zone. So hey, I just thought that since I was looking for the information and I couldn't find that information out there, that I thought I would actually make the information and then make it available. So I'll take this satellite photo off, and then I'll put the overstreet map back on, and here we are again. It makes it easier to really see, particularly when we focus on the two bridges and the entire Seattle and Lake Union region. So hey, I hope that this video was informative. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Appreciate you watching. Have a good day.